Now that we're done with the handle, let's move on to the claw. So pull up your reference image and let's get started. So let's go to our move brush and then make sure that we're happy with the shape first before we start doing the detail. Scale up our brush and let's go to our geometry and lower the subdivision to 2. There we go. Make sure you have symmetry on the z-axis and then just shape that out real quick. Look at it from different angles. Okay, once you're happy with that, go ahead and subdivide it back to 4. Let's just adjust this tip real quick. And then let's go and select this rope and hide it. And let's go back to our claw. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add another subdivision. With our brush, we're going to hold shift and smooth that circle out. Now we're still using a move brush, and then we're just going to go ahead and edit it carefully. Okay. Let's go ahead and add another subdivision. And then we're going to switch our brush to standard. Let's clear this out real quick. And then looking at the reference, we're going to carve in that line in the middle. Let's go to our Z sub to cut into that mesh. Okay. Let's turn on our lazy mouse. So go to stroke, lazy mouse, turn that on. Then what we can do is go back to our brush palette and choose Dam Standard. And just make that line right down the middle. Once you're happy with that, just smooth it out just a little to get that line. Next, we're going to start adding surface detail on this. So let's go to our tool palette and go to morph target and store morph target. Next, we're going to create a layer. So go to layers and click on new. We'll call this surface 1. Okay. Now let's go to our surface. Yeah, and you're still in the tools palette. So tools, surface, and click on noise. What we're going to do is choose 3D and click on noise plugin. And once you open up the window, we're going to choose dents. Okay. Once you choose dents, press OK. And then it'll bring you back to this window. Now we can decrease the plugin size and then increase the strength, somewhere around 0.15. You could type that into 0.15. Press OK. See how it looks. And that's something that we want. We're going to go ahead and apply it to mesh. Now in your brush palette, we're going to choose morph. And we're just going to remove some of that. And what I did here is I have morph brush, and in the alpha, I chose something, I chose alpha 8. And just use that as an alpha. What you're doing is you're sort of removing some of that surface detail. So, because we don't want this end to have all that noise, and we want that to be smooth, just like the concept. Okay, So we're keeping the noise on the top and then removing it in the bottom. Next, we're going to carve in some of that detail by hand. So let's go to, let's choose DAM standard again. And then in layers, right click on this record. So now you just have an eyeball, and go to your geometry and add another subdivision. So you're in subdivision 7. Once you have subdivision 7, go ahead and create another layer. And then we'll just call this surface 2. So with your DAM standard, we're just going to go ahead and manually carve in some of that detail. We could lower the draw size and then just carve that in. Just looking at the concept, there's some long lines around the top. Okay, you could vary the depth of those cuts. Some of them can be shallow, some of them can be really deep. And you don't really need to exactly copy the concept. So as long as it looks natural, you should be fine. So you have something like that. What we're going to do next is, let's go to our morph target. Let's go ahead and delete the morph target. Once you delete it, go ahead and store it again. And then we're going to choose our standard brush. And then on alpha, we're going to choose this alpha 22. Then change this stroke to drag. And we're going to go ahead and drag it. So notice that my intensity is on 15. We don't want that to be higher than that. So just drag that out, drag a couple of them. And we're going to go ahead and go back to our morph target, morph brush, I mean, and subtract some of that out. So removing some of those so it's not too noisy for those cracks, I mean. Okay. All right, you can zoom out, see how it looks from afar. So that's looking pretty good. Just a couple more times on the DAM standard. And we could probably remove the lazy mouse. So go to stroke, remove the lazy mouse, or press L on your keyboard and that will toggle it on and off. So we want that off, and just manually carve in some of that detail back. Okay. Zoom out a little bit, see how it's looking. Just gonna add a couple more details on this. So go to your standard brush and let's choose color spray. So with the color spray chosen, we're gonna use, let's do alpha 40. And then scale up your brush just a little bit. Mine's on 7. And then we're gonna add some of those small holes. Looking at the reference, it seems like we missed that rich detail on the top part, so let's go ahead and fix that. So let's go ahead and lower the subdivision to, let's do to 4. And then go to your standard brush, make sure you don't have an alpha on that, and let's do add and intensity to 20. What we're gonna do is just gonna draw out that ridge that we see on the reference. Okay. Just something like that. And then some part here too on the back side. Something like this. Once you're happy with that, go ahead and turn on your subdivision back to the high subdivision. There you go.